one of the most important words that you said there was the American judicial system, right? So like, I can only speak really with regard to like the Pennsylvania and Pittsburgh, like Pennsylvania state and Allegheny County judicial system and Erie County and Buffalo's judicial system. That's where my experience is limited to. So I can't tell you about America in general, and I definitely can't tell you about it compared to the rest of the world. I know that there are obviously other places in the world with way worse systems than ours, but like, is it infallible? Definitely not. Is it corrupt? For sure. Are there mistakes happening every day? Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Like, and you talk to anybody, any lawyer, you know what I mean? Even any judge. Like, I mean, shit, you watch Law and Order or whatever. All it is moral and ethical quandaries that people have to battle of, like, should we follow the system or let this child rapist go? Like, the problems get very, very complicated, and there's so many layers. And can this system that we have in place manage those problems? I mean, this is the best that we've come up with so far. Does it need reform? 100%, without a doubt. Without a doubt, it needs major reform. And anybody who just like thinks that it's working, like, for you can ask them the follow-up question. If there's anybody out there who's like, yes, I believe in the system, I believe in justice here, and I believe it works, and I'll fight for it and stuff, check their experiences. See if they grew up poor, see if they've ever had to commit a crime. See if they know anybody who's gone through the system. You know what I mean? Like, because they haven't. Like, and that's what I was talking about earlier, is like, we would benefit from becoming more familiar with one another. Like, that's what I'm talking about right there, is like, in a way, I'm grateful for my experiences, because now, I go and I do work, with inner city kids and stuff. And I feel comfortable in any setting. I feel comfortable in the hood. I feel comfortable in prison at times. I felt comfortable, because I feel connected with those people there the same way that I feel connected with anybody else. Sometimes, honestly, I've been in situations where I'm in a very wealthy person's home or whatever, and I feel more uncomfortable. So, like, I think just like devoting some time and attention to being open and empathetic. If people could practice empathy, like, the world will just be a better place. And then we're going to stop feeling good when we're watching the news and we're like, oh, I'm glad they put that motherfucker away, and like, people that are close to me, I'm not going to put people down who say stuff like that either. I don't want to, because like, I'll talk to my mom sometimes. She'll watch the news or something like that, and she'll be like, oh, I'm glad that they did that to that guy. And I always sympathize with the criminal. I'm always like, yeah, but did they, that's not going to help him out. Why did he do that in the first place? You know what I mean? Like, I think like that. And that's because of the experiences that I've been through. My mom hasn't been through those experiences. Do I love her? Yes. Do I think that I want her to go to prison so she has the same enlightenment? No. You know what I mean? I just try, on a micro level with each situation to tell people, like, consider empathy. This is a human being that we're talking about. These are years of their life. And like, not to just focus on myself. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I just always try and consider other people's situations too.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
I mean, at some point I do want to share some, like, just like old school, like, I just want to share like a graph story or
Yeah,
something
for
like
sure.
that at some point.
Let
We
me just
can't
address what you
let the
said.
interview. Yeah.
Yeah, let me just address what you said, and then you got the mic, bro.
Lit.
um, I just wanted to quote NM, and we were talking to him last week, and he was saying how growing up, he learned that experiences themselves could be the greatest teacher. And I think that what you said about how what we need is to be like more connected as humans so we can have a better understanding. To have a better understanding, you need to be taught in a way. You need to have an experience with this certain thing. And there's so many things that it's difficult, but luckily the way humanity moves is towards more connection with each era. Like back in the day, there was just, if you lived in another country, you'd never hear a single idea from someone across an ocean. It would just be impossible. But with what we have today, just like with this podcast, I'm sure there's gonna be people who listen to it who have never listened to a writer before or anything like that, and have never listened to someone who's gone through something like you. And you can hear from the person's voice and with this kind of platform that you're not just like what the stigma would portray someone who went to prison for X amount of time would be. So I think that that's something positive that's coming out of, you know, everything that's going on. And yeah, bro, say whatever you want.
So, I mean, just to build on what you just said real quick, though, that goes both ways, too. Like my parole officer, for example, he has to deal with the fact that I come in his office to report to him, and I am a nice guy, and I am intelligent. You know, I actually went back to school during this time that I've been here, and I went and got a business degree with, you know, when I graduated cum laude, 3.8 GPA. You know, the only reason it wasn't a 4.0 is because I got locked up in 2013 and, you know, had a 0.0 GPA for that semester and still had to pay out of pocket for the whole thing. So like, when my PO sees me come in there and it's like, all right, this dude he just did better, you know, at school than probably my PO did at school, you know, and he's a very nice guy. You know, he's met my mother because he comes over for home visits. He's met you know, or hasn't met my girlfriend, but he's basically been around. He knows my life, right? And he is like himself. He's like, I can't believe that this is still going on with you. And I want to be like, man, like, you just haven't taken the time to get to know your other parolees, because their situations are just as unfair in a lot of ways. Like, you know, just because I have the same color skin as you, you know what I mean? And I can talk nice and stuff and like, whatever, like you don't look at me like this dirtbag piece of shit. Like you look at every other parolee. Right. But like, it's just that lack of understanding, that lack of familiarity that allows, you know, ignorance to breed, which then begets hatred and begets racism and begets like all of these things that are the ills in our society. So like, I enjoy that, you know, my situation challenges people, so that I get to be the one to say things like, yo, you know, don't just write off everybody that's a felon. Don't just write off everybody that's on parole because you like me, right? Like I'm a nice guy, right? Am I the only felon you know? And most of the time, yeah. You know what I mean? So like in that case, it's like, well, stop then. Stop, like, you know, just mislabeling, prejudging people. Like it's stupid.